Good day, guys and gals. Today we're gonna be talking about Xbox. So there's been a lot of interesting things being said about Xbox in the last couple of days that led many to believe that they're gonna stop making consoles, they're bringing all their games to PS5, they just become like a full-on publisher. And it kind of, like, the first thing I heard about it, like, they apparently were gonna release Hi-Fi Rush on PS5. Then I heard that a Sea of Thieves is gonna come on PS5. I was like, okay. We're still, like, not too out of the ordinary, but kind of weird, right? They're releasing their first party titles on PS5. Oh, really? Okay. And then Starfield. I heard that Starfield is gonna come on PS5. I was like, what? Starfield? Really? The big title? Right? And it wasn't confirmed. Like, it was all rumors. And then that's kind of when the ball started rolling and people were like, whoa, what is going on with Xbox? They're gonna become a full-on publisher now? Like, they're not gonna make consoles anymore? Like, what is this, right? And, like, just rumors and rumors and rumors and rumors. Like, for example, right here, I got this, right? Somebody saying, exclusive, Microsoft plans the Starfield release for PlayStation 5. A change in strategy is upon us. And then above, person retweeting this or quoting it, I guess. This report is accurate. Starfield will land on PlayStation. I've heard similar but opted to wait on reporting this information. I'm glad he waited because it was certainly accurate information until the PS5 release timeline was finalized. As the report states, the PS5 release will come after the arrival of the expansion DLC on Xbox/PC. Funnily enough, if I click this button up here, over the course of the week, I've rechecked the info mentioned below, and the information suggested Starfield was PS5 bound is false. As you saw, a lot of things like getting out of hand, like what's going on with Xbox, and it was really weird. So Xbox themselves tweeted this: please join us for a special edition of the official Xbox podcast. Hear from Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty. Always love reading that name. As they share updates on the Xbox business. Really important. Xbox business. Because they saw everything that was going on. People were really confused. Me included at a certain time. So this is gonna be today, I think, actually on 8 p.m, at least in my time zone, where they're gonna probably clear up some things. But all this conversation, if it's true or not, has made me want to talk about how important it is that Xbox keeps making their own games, their own consoles, because competition is the most important thing for the consumer. Competition leads to innovation, great products, and it's just good for the consumer. Even if sometimes people don't want to believe it because of the console wars, right? Like, oh, PS5 better, Xbox better, and whatnot. They both matter. Because without the one, the other stops trying. And we've seen dozens of examples that this is true. And one of the examples that I want to pull up is the PS3. So, Sony releases their first console, the PS1, right? It's a huge success. Good games, good market, like everybody wants to play the games, that they buy it, and just a good position that Sony has found themselves in, right? And then they released the PlayStation 2, an even bigger success. Like, it's crazy how much it sells. Like, a big reason for that being that you could watch DVDs as well. That was a really good thing that they put that in. That probably was like half the sales, that you could watch DVDs on it. But yeah, a huge success, even bigger. So they're like, damn, we're getting kind of comfortable here, right? So we're selling crazy. We kind of can stop trying. We can make some things that don't really make sense. We can make it more expensive. So that's what they did. Like, notoriously, they increased the price. Like, if I go here, that's one of the first things that comes up in Google. PS3 price. They increased the price of the console. It was like, I think $600 or when it released. Probably would be more now due to inflation. Another thing, the console was notoriously difficult to develop games for, and a lot of developers had difficulties making their games for it, and some of them even stopped doing so because of it. And even now, it's very difficult to emulate PS3 games, and I think that's a big reason why you didn't see it on the PS5. So with all the things I just listed, a lot of people looked at the Xbox 360 and some of them even switched to it, and it ended up being Xbox's most successful console ever. But some of you might remember this, the Red Ring of Death, which basically made the console not profitable. But despite that, it was still a huge success in gaining a large player base. It sold 80 million copies, so that's a lot of players to have on your hand. Because of that, on their next console, Xbox got really cocky as well. You might remember this, the online DRM that they tried to implement, which basically made it impossible to share your games with other people, which led to this famous clip about sharing your games on the PlayStation 4, which basically made PlayStation win that generation. And another example of competition being really important is Sega. Like, at some point, that was their whole spiel. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. And like, that was one of the best times for the game. You had Sega, you had Nintendo. They both were grinding their teeth together. Sega was making good games, good consoles. Nintendo was making good games, good consoles, and Sega was putting fire under Nintendo's ass. At the end, Sega sadly stopped making consoles. I mean, they still make games, but they kind of lost the console war, which is why nowadays Nintendo is doing a lot of questionable things because they basically have no direct competition, so they get away with it. This just shows how important competition is, because without Sega, I don't think Nintendo would have done a lot of the things they did. The thing is, when you have competition, sometimes you have to do things, and if you don't, then it's worse. Going back to PlayStation, we're seeing that again. So after the PS3, where they realized they kind of effed up, right? They started trying again with the PlayStation 4. What was their spiel there? Make good games. Make a hardware that's easier to develop for. Decrease the price of the console and just make good games. That was really the thing they were hammering in back then with the PS4. Like, there's so many good games on the PlayStation 4. So because of that, it sold crazy. I don't think as much as the PlayStation 2, but very, very well. And they are getting cocky yet again with the PS5. One thing that has happened because of that, because they were so comfortable where they sat at with the PS4, and now with the PS5 they think, we can get away with some things. They started to increase the price of the PS5 after it being out for like 2 years or something. I've never heard a price increase for a product after it's been released for like a couple of years. Well, actually I have, and that's a big reason why that happens. The Meta Quest 3 or something, I think, increased in price, and then PlayStation was like, we can do that as well. And some other things that PlayStation has done, like a lot of things James Ryan said, just really made it obvious that they were getting comfortable again. So my big point, if Xbox stops being an actual competitor, it's just gonna make it worse. Like, we're gonna see way more of this, because if Xbox is gone, they basically have no competition, right? I mean, you got Nintendo, but they kind of have their own market. They're not really competing directly to PlayStation, so they can do just whatever they want, which is not a good thing. Like, it really isn't. But we've seen, even from PlayStation, a kind of a change in strategy. Here I have something really interesting. The president from Sony talked about how they want to change their business. So there's actually a clip of it, but I'm gonna read it to be a little bit quicker. In the past, we wanted to popularize console and the first party titles. Main purpose was to make the console popular. It is true, but there is a synergy to it. So if you have strong first party content, not only with our console, but also other platforms like computers, first party can be grown with multi-platform. And that can help operating profit to improve. So that is another one we want to proactively work on. I personally think there are opportunities out there for improvement of margins. So we like to go aggressive in improving our margin performance, end quote. So even PlayStation, we've seen it with their games that they're releasing on PC. They released Spider-Man on PC. They released the Uncharted games on PC. They released The Last of Us on PC and many more. So they were pushing it a little bit, but it seems like they want to go full on because Helldivers 2 was launched on PC, I think day one. I've heard the rumors again, right? But I've heard that they want to start to release a lot of the games on day one on PC as well, because there is just an untapped market on PC, right? Like a lot of people that have PC just don't have a console because they prefer playing on the PC or any other reason, right? Like I play on PC mainly nowadays, so I don't think they're gonna lose any sales like they thought they would when releasing it on both systems, because a lot of people that are on console are just gonna play on console no matter if they release it on PC or not. But yeah, I personally think it's really important that Xbox stays there. The thing is, at some point it's gonna be very different. We're gonna see more and more digital at some point. It's just gonna be consoles without a disc drive. I mean, we've seen it, right? You got a PlayStation 5 that has no disc drive. I think Xbox has one that has no disc drive. It was rumored that Xbox is gonna release a new console without disc drive. So we're moving more to digital future. And maybe at some point there's not gonna be consoles anymore. But right now there is. So it's really important that it decrease. But yeah, maybe at some point we're gonna be playing all games on PC. I mean, I'm gonna be there because I'm already on PC, but right now it isn't the case. So for now, I really hope Xbox doesn't stop making consoles, man, and don't become a full-on publisher. It won't be good for the market, even if people don't want to believe it. But yeah, that was it for this video. Thanks for watching, and see ya on the next one.